Hey class, okay, this is your video from the puzzle project. At this point, you have gone over the project with me and I've shown you the files, what they look like. And I'm gonna go over how to make these two pieces to start off with and just kind of go from there. So I'll be showing you all the steps you need to know in order to make all the components of that puzzle project. So we're gonna make these two pieces to teach you how to make yours. I'm going to make this red piece by creating this L shape and then extruding it 0.75. And then I'm going to create a sketch on this surface and then make this 0.75 extruded nub come off. That's 0.75, 0.75. For this one, I'm going to make the U shape, extrude that, and then I'm going to make this little nub here in the corner. Okay. So it's not too much to it. Let me go ahead and minimize that. I have a design screen opened up. I'm going to get rid of my panel. But first of all, I want to talk about you need to create a folder that says puzzle project and put it within your class folder. And the 5 pieces that you make, the puzzle assembly, the video you make, and the exploded view with the parts list needs to go into this folder. It's important they all go into the folder because they're all connected and linked together. Okay, so let me go ahead and get rid of that right now. Let's go to create, sketch. I'm going to create it on this bottom plane. I'm going to use this line tool because we're making that L shape, which is in an irregular shape. So I'm going to left click, I'm going to drag over. It is 2.25 for me. Left click, go up, 2.25. Left click, I'm going to come over to a 0.75. I'm going to left click, start coming down, and 0.75. And let me go ahead and, it isn't 0.75, it's 1.5. Let me go ahead and hit return now and just show you what has happened. I have created an incomplete shape. So it goes up, over, and down. So if that happens, you can just come back, grab the line tool again, and just continue along. So I'm going to left click there, 0.75, come over. Notice it says 1.5 on the bottom. I'm going to left click and come down and complete that profile, and it turns a blue when you close it in. The reason it was so easy to put those in place was I have this little snap feature on. So make sure you do that. I would also come down here to visual display and do shaded with visible edges and escape, and that's that. Okay, so we have that shape. I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to hit E to extrude, or you can come up here and hit the extrude button, and I'm going to extrude to 0.75. There we go. And the next thing we need to do is I need to make the little nub that goes right here. Okay, so we need to create another sketch from this surface. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool because I'm making a square rectangle. I'm going to start in one of these corners, and I'm just going to drag to the other corner. Now, because the sketch is being placed on something that has already been dimensioned properly, you can see it says 0.75 and 0.75. Or you could just start dragging, let go, and type in 0.75, tab 0.75, or whatever the dimensions are for your piece. I'm going to hit return and then E to extrude, and I'm going to click on this surface. So profile, select the surface. I'm going to click that surface, select that surface, 0.75, and return. Okay, so I have made the red piece now, but it isn't red, and I want to save it in a different isometric. So I'm going to bring it there. Tell you what, let's go like that. Ooh. Okay, so I like that isometric, so I'm going to make this the front. So I click on it to square up the object. I'm going to right click, set current view as front, and then I'm going to click on this corner right here to put it into isometric, and then right click on the house and set current view as home and fit to view. Okay, last thing I do is go to modify to change the color, go to appearance. It is made of satin steel, I believe, or something to that effect, but we're not worried about the material, just the color. So right click whatever it's made out of, edit, and we want it to be in this red area. There we go. Set the color, and voila. Okay, so once you have done that, you're going to make sure that you have it saved in a good isometric. You're going to save it something appropriate like your name and the color, and then you're going to save it to your data panel. When you take a picture of it, make sure you take a picture of it with the data panel open and your initials right here. So you need that whole entire screen when you take the screenshot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a second piece now. I didn't save the first one because I already have them saved, and this is just kind of instruction for you. I'm going to go ahead and let me close this, create, sketch, and this time I will do it again on this bottom one. And I'm going to go ahead again using the line tool. Now I want you guys to understand that the units that you're using here are 0.75 3/4 inch. So there's only 3 dimensions that you'll have, either 2.25, 1.5, or 0.75. So I'm going to go ahead and we're making this U shape. So I'm going to left click here, come over here. It is 2.25. Place it. I'm going to go up 1.5. Come over, left click, it's at 0.75. I'm going to come down. It's at 0.75 right now. I'm going to left click and then come over. It doesn't want to go to 0.75, so I'm going to type in 0.75. Come up. It says 0.75 in length there. And over. Left click and come all the way back down. Right there. So let me go ahead and finish that sketch. You can see the profile here. Again, this is 1.5, that's 2 blocks. This is 3 blocks, that's 2.25. This is 0.75 right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit E to extrude or come up here and click it there. Selecting that face, and I will make it 0.75. Okay, so we got that object created. Hello. I'll tell you, holding the shift and the mouse down sometimes can be kind of tricky. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Let's see here. So we need to make a little nub right here that comes up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the front. Whoops. Wrong way. There we go. I guess it's the top. And I'm going to create a sketch on this surface. And I'm going to left click here. Well, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool and I'm going to left click, and it'll just place it right there for me. Now I could have done 0.75 and 0.75 and it would have placed in the same spot, but there you go. Now in the event that you draw something and it's 0.75 and 0.75, but it isn't, let's just say you started the sketch here and then it went 0.75 over here and then 0.75 up. So it wasn't in this corner. You can very easily fix that by coming over here to the sketch dimension and setting the dimension of how far something is from another. So I could left click here and left click there. Oops, hold on. Oh boy, hold on a second. Okay, so let's just say you want to dimension. You could go left click there and left click on that surface, and it's at 1.5 already, but let's just say it wasn't at 1.5. You could type in, you could place it, type in 1.5, and it would pop it into place. But because it's already locked into that corner, when I tried to place that dimension, it wouldn't let me because it's saying it's already locked in that corner. You can't change this dimension. So that's just a way to help fix yours. So if you have issues, you can always talk to me about it, but I'm going to go ahead and hit E to extrude, turn it just a little bit. And I'm going to click on this surface to extrude up. And I'm going to extrude 0.75. And there we go. So let me go ahead and do that again. And what I want to do is get this to a little bit better of an isometric. I like this isometric better. So I'm going to make this back side the front. So I'm going to right click on that, set current view as front, go to the isometric in that little corner, right click on the home, set current view as home, and fit to view. And there you go. And then I would set this color again by going modify, appearance, right click the material that it's made out of, and edit, and then change it to the color yellow that you'd want it. And then I would save this to as yellow, my name, like Werner Yellow or Yellow Piece or something like that, and save it to that folder that you had previously set up and put your other piece in. So after you make your 5 pieces, I want you to make sure that they are made correctly and then continue on this video. So I'm going to pause it and get ready for the next part for the assembly. Okay, here we go. So we need to assemble your puzzle, and I'm going to show you how to assemble 3 pieces of mine. That should be enough for you to go ahead and do yours. And the only assembly constraint we're going to use is this thing called joints and rigid ones. So underneath of here, let me go ahead and just get started, and I'll show you from there. So you got your 5 pieces made. I'm going to go ahead and bring this red piece in. I'm going to right click it, insert in current design. Oh, it's telling me there's an error because I have to save this file. So let's go file, save it. Once you save it, even before you start doing the assembly. So assembly Werner. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to put practice on it so I know that it's a practice. And it's saved to that folder. Save. So I'm going to right click, insert into current design, or you can just drag it in. There we go. And at this point, the move copy dialog box comes up, and you can move this object by going, moving it on its 3 axes. That's the translation, or you can do a rotation on those axes. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to take my object and I want to move it so that it is rotated in a fashion that is more useful for me on the assembly. Okay, so let me think about this for a second. And you'll know your piece a lot better than I know it. So there we go. Okay, so that is it, and I want to go ahead and hit OK. Let's see here. I'm going to turn it a little bit. The right view. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I got this piece pulled in. The red one, I kind of have it positioned in the way I want it to be for my assembly. And I'm now going to bring in the yellow piece. Okay, so you can just drag it in, or you can right click and insert it into current project. So I'm dragging the yellow piece in. That is not where it goes. Move copy, dialog box. I'm going to grab this little middle piece. I'm going to pull it over this way. Drag the screen down here. And I should have, when you do yours, I want you to, when you bring it in and you start rotating it, I want you to make sure that you're rotating it on 90 degrees. So 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360. And I didn't do it on this one. And so this is not like squared up correctly. And I want to make sure that you do that on yours so that when you save it and put it into isometric, it's the correct isometric. It's actually in isometric. But either way, we're going to take this piece and we're going to turn it like that. And I'm also going to turn it this way. So I got it to 180 degrees there. And there we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit OK, because that's kind of where I want it to be positioned. And what you want to do at this point is you want to set that joint constraint, which is right here under joint, pops up here for rigid. Make sure it's on rigid, okay? And it wants you to select the 2 points you want to bring together. So what we're going to do is we're going to select, and I'm going to turn it this way. We want to select 2 corners that will be together, and the faces are also married together. So this face in that corner and this face in this corner. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, before we do that, the first piece you bring in, go ahead and let me hit cancel. Let me right click and ground that piece so that that piece is now grounded. So every piece will come to that one. This one will be fixed in space. Okay, so let's go back. Joint. It is asking us to select. And notice after I grounded it, the first one you select can't be on that piece. So it's this surface, that corner, and this surface, that corner. Brings them together, and there you go. If you go to the motion and you hit play, it shows you that it can't move, and that's exactly what you want it to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Notice under joints, there is one rigid one, and that is this one right here. And if we wanted to take it off, we could right click it and delete it, and they wouldn't be connected anymore. Okay, the next piece we want to bring in is this blue piece. So I'll just drag it in. Now I'll show you. Right click and insert into current design, and there's the blue piece. Okay, so I'm going to turn this blue piece so that it is positioned how I need it. Notice that's 90 degrees right there. And I believe, get the blue piece in front of me here. Yep, and I think I want to go this way, 180. There we go. I hit OK. So what's going to happen here? Oh, hold on a second. Let me turn this way. Okay, hold on. So I turned this in a position that I don't want it. So I'm going to right click it and move copy. There we go. And select components. And this is the component I want to move. Okay, I went 180 wrong. I shouldn't have done that. So 180. There we go. And hit OK. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do is we are going to insert this blue piece. This top portion is going to be right up here. This little nub is going to come out here. And then right here, this nub will come out here or be flush on those surfaces. So I'm going to go ahead and select 2 surfaces that I know are together and have a corner together. Let's see here. I'm going to come up here to joint. If it says some components have been moved, just capture position. That's perfectly fine. And I'm going to do this face and that corner. And I'm going to turn. I'm going to do this face and that corner. And there it is. It inserts it in. Motion, play. It works. There we go. So I've now assembled 3 pieces. And you can see that there's 2 constraints, 2 joints that were created where the 2 pieces were married into other pieces. So what you're going to do is you're going to complete your assembly, and then you're going to continue on this video. So I'm going to pause and get us ready for the next one with a completed assembly. Okay, class. So at this point, you will need a screenshot of your assembly. So you'll have your 5 or 6 puzzle pieces saved in correct isometric and saved correct color into the folder in your data panel, and they are needed in the final submission sheet. And then a screenshot of this too. Data panel open, your initials here, with this little drop down showing the rigid joints that were created. Okay, so I can see that. So take a screenshot of that. Okay, so once we have that assembly made, we're going to animate it. So we're going to hit this little drop down and go to animation. Okay, so What we're going to do here is I'm going to set the duration of time on what I'm going to do to 2 seconds. So everything I do is going to be set to 2 seconds. Okay, so just kind of follow along with me. We're going to drag the pieces out to show it exploding apart. So I'm going to go ahead and hit transform component. I'll start with this orange piece. That's fine. And I'm going to drag it up. And then I'm going to drag it also a little bit this way. Okay, so that's where I want to put that one. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So let me just go ahead and play that and show you what happens. 2 seconds, that's what happens. So we want to make 2-second cuts of the other 3 pieces coming off of the base piece, the grounded piece, the red piece. Okay, let me make sure that I'm in that same isometric that I just was in. Transform component. Let's go ahead with the green piece and let's go straight up with it. How about that? That's what we're going to do. Just go straight up with it. And hit OK. And notice it dropped it down here, the green one. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this green one and we're going to slide it over and put it kind of when the other one gets pulled away. Or they can overlap a little bit. That's fine too. So the video kind of, there it goes, like that. Okay. Well, the next one we're going to pull off is this yellow one. So let's go to transform component, select it. It's going to be this one. We're going to go out with it this way. I'm going to go over with it this way, like so. I'm going to keep going back with it and over, trying to make it so that they are apart. Okay. And then I'm going to hit OK. Notice I'm in that isometric still. And let's see, let's pull this one over a little bit. That looks nice. All right, let's see here. Let's watch it. The whole thing. 1, 2, and 3. Notice these little tails right here. When you click on the piece, right click it and show hide trail lines. That's how you get them to come on or off, those trail lines. And I do want you to turn them on for this part of it. And then this very last piece is going to be the blue one. Let's go ahead and click it. Transform. Okay. And I'm going to come over, down, there we go. And hit OK. So I have this saved now in this isometric. Okay. And you might want to just look at some other isometrics. And that one looks way better showing it apart. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that face that I'm going to now right click and turn to the front view and then corner it and right click the house and set that fit to view for the isometric. And let me go ahead and take this one and drag it out a little bit. And let's watch this video, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, minus a few little portions. It's just over 6.5 seconds. There we go. There you go. It shows how to solve it. Now we want to show going back together. Okay. So on this storyboard, and this is super easy to do, I want you to right click. I want you to copy it. And then right next to it, paste it. In that storyboard, I want you to turn off all of these trail lines. Why aren't they turning off? Oh, there it is. I got to be on the piece. Okay. So left click on the piece. It shows you the tail line. There you go. I clicked off the piece, click on the piece, right click, take it off. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to reverse the order. Okay. So for this one, it's going to start there and then it's going to come back together. Okay. So what's going to happen is first video, it's going to come apart. And then the second part of the video that we create will be it then coming together. Okay, once you have done that, you're going to come up here to publish. And you're going to publish your video. You want all storyboards, so it grabs both of those storyboards down here. Let's go ahead and set it to 1024 by 1024. That's not too big or small in the resolution. Make sure and go ahead and hit OK. Make sure that it is an AVI file and call it your name, animation, puzzle, assembly animation, something like that, and save it to your folder. And then I also like to usually save one to the desktop in this case. So that's what you do. You hit save, and then you'd have that video here with your 5 pieces and a picture of in your assembly file here also. Okay, now this file that you save, this AVI file is going to get dropped into, bear with me here, let me pull this up, into Puzzle Project Animation that has been shared with you. So go to your shared with me, and you should see Puzzle Project Animation, and that's where you're going to put that video, and that's how you're going to submit that video to me. Okay? All right, I'm going to pause this video and get us ready for the next piece. Okay, here we go. So we have saved the video, and then we put it into that folder. We have taken a screenshot of the assembly. We've taken screenshots of your 5 puzzle pieces, and you're nearly done. You have that one last drawing file that shows it exploded. Okay, so in order to do that, you need to be on this first storyboard, because what it's going to do, it's going to build the drawing off of the end of the video, and the end of this video is it apart. Okay, so make sure you're on this storyboard. Go animation, drawing file, hit that little drop down, drawing file, from animation, not from design. So from animation. This is where you actually specify storyboard 1. That's the one we want. And let's go ahead, and you can leave this as 17 by 11 and go ahead and hit OK. And we're going to wait a second, and there you go. It populates in. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and hit a 1:1. All right, that's nice. So I'm going to go ahead and place that right about here. You can change the orientations if you don't like that one. But this orientation I do like. Okay. So I left clicked it, and I'm going to hit OK. So I will also come back in and right click, edit view. I had to click on it, what to edit, and I want to click and make the style colored in. Okay, so the orientation it's showing right now is northeast isometric, so we want to keep that in mind. All right, so we'll put that there. We also want to go ahead and put a base view, which is going to be the assembly now. Let's go ahead and put that in northeast isometric, because that's what fits mine. Let's see what a 1:1 looks like. Hey, I can put it right there. That's perfect. So I'm going to left click and place it right there and hit OK. And I will color that one in too. So right click, edit view, select the view, I guess this one. Right click, edit view. There we go. And voila. Okay. Last thing we need to do is we need those little call outs and the parts list. So I'm going to come up here to table, and it's saying, what do you want to make your table off of? And I'm going to say this guy right here. So it's bringing it over here. I'm just going to place it right here for now. So left click it. Notice it brings in the bubbles for you, and it auto populates the stuff in. So I'm going to just drag these balloons. They call them balloons, these call outs. Left click on it, and then you can drag it to a better location and realign it where it is on the object. Come on. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. Just want to put them in an area so that they're noticeable. There we go. For whatever reason, and let's go. I don't know why that one is acting up the way it is. So I'll just put it there, and then here's the number 1, and I'll bring this guy right there, and that's fine where it's connected to. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for right there with those call outs, and now we just need to correct this parts list. So you can double click it, left, and come in here. We want the item, the quantity, not the part number, but the part name. Get rid of the description, and get rid of the material too. You don't need that in there. So as long as you've saved your parts with something meaningful, it should have the color in there. It might have your last name in with it, in the version of whichever one you created. Like if you've altered it after you made your first one, it'll be a version 2 and stuff like that. And then you hit close. You can make this a little bit bigger if you wanted. You can resize this. You can drag it down, and that's that. So this would be an appropriate, acceptable final exploded views with parts list. You would open up your data panel. You would take a screenshot of this along with your data panel and your initials up here, and that would be the last component. So you will have your 5 puzzle pieces, your exploded view with parts list, your assembly file, and then that video. And those are the items you need for the project.